Hello. Today's video is about how fixing your narcissistic parents' problems is a bad idea. Boundaries are a very necessary part of life. Having them means you're free of the need to please other people or be taking care of things that should be another person's responsibility. They're especially helpful for those of us raised by narcissistic parents, since we grew up with very vague or even non-existent boundaries. Even after you've learned about having healthy boundaries and put what you learned into practice, it can be hard sometimes to maintain those boundaries, especially with our narcissistic parents. A few years ago, I spoke to my mother on the phone one day. She mentioned how she and my father rearranged the living room furniture. Knowing them, this meant she told him what to move, where to put it, and he just blindly obeyed her. Normally, I figured if he's willing to obey her and not stand up for himself, well, that's his choice. However, this time it really bothered me. He was 77 years old at the time and had back surgery just before this happened. He should not have been doing this. But this sort of thing wasn't really a first either. Part of the reason he needed the back surgery in the first place was because he lifted something very heavy he shouldn't have been lifting, only because my mother wanted it moved. Why they didn't ask my husband and I for help, I don't know. Times like this can be very difficult for the adult child of narcissistic parents. Old habits tend to want to kick in and you want to just go fix things or take care of the parent that's being pushed around. However, this is not a good idea at all. Fixing things simply enables the dysfunction to go on and it draws you into the middle of it. Chances are it'll go on no matter what, so why put yourself in this situation? I know it's hard, but remember, it's ultimately that parent's choice to do or not to do what the other parent says to do. That parent is likely just trying to avoid a narcissistic rage by doing whatever it is they're doing. Very understandable to a degree, of course, but it's still his or her decision to obey rather than take a chance on standing up to their narcissistic spouse and maybe ending the control. It's not your place to rescue your parent. Your parent's an adult and needs to take care of his or herself just like all adults do. Everyone's actions and choices are their own responsibility, and each person needs to reap the consequences of them, whether they're good or bad. Do not allow your parent to draw you into the position of standing up for him or her to the other parent. You'll only end up hurt, and most likely nothing will change anyway. Do you really want to get drawn into that kind of dysfunction? No, you don't. If you're having trouble with not getting involved, remember how it's hurt you when you've been in this type of situation before. Remember how badly you were treated. I've had to do this myself since I've been in this situation so many times. It's just really a horrible and miserable situation to be in. It just leaves you feeling used, angry, resentful, and hurt. This type of behavior is a part of what's known as emotional incest. Emotional incest, covert incest, parentalizing, and parentification are all terms used to describe the same abusive behavior. When a child is put into a position of an equal or partner to the parent, that's emotional incest. Being expected to listen to a parent complain about their loveless marriage, sex life, or talk to another person on behalf of the parents, or maybe providing emotional support to the parent instead of the parent getting it from their partner, friend, family member, things like this are all examples of emotional incest. While this may not sound so bad, its effects truly can be devastating to a child. She grows up feeling overly responsible for other people, often becoming involved in codependent or abusive relationships. She grows up very anxious, depressed, and constantly feeling guilty. You do not deserve to be abused like this. Put a stop to it immediately. Refuse to listen if your one parent complains to you about the other parent or wants you to get involved in their arguments or their problems. Emotional incest is detrimental to your mental health, and you need to protect yourself from it in every way, shape, and form. Thank you for watching my video.